What's going on, people in YouTube land? Kimchi Chris here, and welcome to today's brand new video. A video where I'm going to tell you the tale of the time that I met Mr. Paul Stanley with my dad. Now, my mom was there too, but today is a Father's Day 2020 special, so she's there. She's part of the subplot, if you will. But we are going to focus on one great decision he made in the process of meeting Paul Stanley that it turned the tables. It made things what they are in this amazing story. And if you've been with us on the channel for a little bit, you might remember the Mother's Day video where I asked you to leave comments for her where we talked about meeting Gene Simmons with my mom. Well, guess what? We're doing it again. I would love for you guys to leave some nice comments for Kimchi Dad right down there below. And he does like Kiss, so you can kind of throw in some references there. And he also really likes Stevie Ray Vaughan, so if you can somehow intertwine that into your comments for Kimchi Dad, I'm sure he would think they were cool. I'm going to share all of them with him as we watch this video, or after we watch the video, before we watch the video, whenever we do something with the video, he will get those comments. So please leave them down below for him. So without further ado, let's jump into the story about how I met Paul Stanley for free with my dad. So let's paint the picture first so you kind of understand the scenario. I got into Kiss when I was in 2nd grade. Thanks to him as well, we discovered his records that he still had that were in the garage at the time. It was a copy of Destroyer, Alive 1, and Alive 2, and I didn't know what the guys were. I didn't know if they were guys, I didn't know if they were girls, I didn't know if they were good guys, I didn't know if they were bad guys, I didn't know if they were in a band, I didn't know what they were, but those covers of those records, Destroyer, Alive 1, and Alive 2, captivated me to the point that he showed me Kiss Meets the Phantom of the Park, and it was done. I was hooked. I was hooked for life, and all of this is thanks to him. He ruined my life with Kiss, some would say, and on the other hand, many would say he enhanced my life greatly with Kiss. I kind of fall into that camp. So let's fast forward right past that to 1996 with the makeup going back on. Everyone's excited, the band's amazing, I get to see them in 1997. Everything is wonderful in the world, but I never in my wildest dreams thought I would meet any of the members at that small little kid age. And then, oh boy, let's fast forward to July 9th, 1998. Mars Music was opening in Nashville, Tennessee. It's a music chain that's not around anymore, but you can basically imagine it as a Guitar Center or a Sam Ash, kind of like the big Walmart corporate music store that has everything you need for your guitar, for your bass, for your cello, your piano, your drums, your vocals, whatever you need. Mars Music definitely had it, and they had something amazing for their opening night on July 9th there. They had Mr. Paul Stanley showing up to promote his new Washburn guitar series. Hallelujah, the floodgates opened. We were going to meet the star child himself. And of course, word got to me that Paul Stanley was going to be in Nashville and meeting and greeting everybody. I don't even know if I knew that was a thing you could do at that time, because again, I was such a little kid, and these were such mythical characters that I'd seen on stage in person once at that point. And it just seemed like something that would never happen. So I don't know how I got the news. I don't know if it came from my parents. I don't know if it came from a friend. I don't know if it came from a hobo on the street. One way or another, I knew that Paul Stanley was coming to town, and I had to be there. I had to be there because it was Paul Stanley, and you know, I still have to go if Paul Stanley's coming to town for anything. If he's signing autographs, if he's playing a show, if he's serving pizza at the pizzeria, I've got to go there if Paul Stanley's gonna be there. So we made our plans and the trip was set, and as a family, we were gonna go meet Paul Stanley himself. So we make it to the grand opening and the place is packed. There's stuff outside, there's stuff inside, there's people everywhere. It's a big event for the store to open, but most people are there admittedly for Paul Stanley. You see Kiss shirts everywhere. I want to say there were people in Kiss makeup, all kinds of stuff. And they eventually have kind of like an opening ceremonies, if you will, on their big stage saying, hey guys, we're officially open. Not like you haven't been here already for a couple hours, but we're open and Paul's going to be here soon. But they still hadn't revealed where Paul was going to be doing the autographs. Was he going to be doing them on the stage? Was he going to be doing them in a closet? Was he going to be doing them out of a van? Nobody knew, but nonetheless, they made a big announcement that the big event of the evening was coming. The king of the nighttime world himself was going to soon be in the building. And I can only assume they didn't give a location because they didn't want to cause a giant line and they wanted people to look at their products, they want people to spend money, and you know, it's just a safety hazard. So I get why they kind of delayed saying where he was going to be, but people were getting in a tizzy, people are getting excited. Paul Stanley's coming, so we better go to the restroom and get ready. My mom always has to go to the restroom. She was there, again, subplot, but my dad was the one that made an amazing decision here in a second. So we go to the back, down this hall, and that's where the restrooms are. You know, they're kind of by themselves as they are in a lot of stores. stores. And we're there in that hall. There's not very many people in there, you know, 5, 6, something like that. And there's all of these security goons kind of gathering at a door, an entrance or an exit, if you will, from the outside area at the end of this hall. Again, this is kind of the behind the scenes area where the bathroom is at the store. And we had nowhere else to be. We still had not been given our orders as to where to meet Paul Stanley. And my dad did notice all the security goons, and he said those words that were just so important. I'm paraphrasing him, I don't know him exactly, but he basically said, I think Paul Stanley's about to be taken into this entrance. So of course we decided to stick around. They weren't moving us out of the room, and if we get a glimpse at the Star Child, why not? And then the doors opened. The gates of heaven opened, and the smoke, the fog, the pyro, the energy, stars as far as you could see. Mr. Paul Stanley was in the same hall as we were at that moment. If you didn't pick up on it, yeah, he's coming through that entrance. And he's kind of just walking through the room, nodding and, you know, waving as one does, and everyone's there for him, obviously, but he stops the security goons. He stops them, and he says, there's a fan, I want to talk to him. And in no other time or place would this have happened other than me being a little kid. Guess who he wanted to talk to? It was me. Baby Kimchi is who he wanted to talk to. So he bent down because, you know, Paul Stanley's a big guy. He's Paul Stanley. He's amazing. And he talked to me for just a second. Hey, how's it going, little guy? Something to that effect. I don't remember the exact words. I couldn't utter anything hardly. I think I just smiled and nodded. And he patted me on the shoulder or something like that as I'm sitting there hugging my Paul Stanley action figure. And he's just whisked away into the darkness that he would soon emerge in his autograph room from. But that moment, those 10 seconds of interaction, he didn't talk to anyone else in that hall, but he made a point to talk to me specifically. I was seen by the Star Child. The star came out of his eye, a la Phantom of the Park, and he concentrated on me. And oh boy, that is something I will never, ever forget as a Kiss fan. And guess what? It's all thanks to Kimchi Dad. Yeah, dads are pretty great, aren't they? So eventually they usher us into a line, and we're led down a corridor to a secret room where he's doing the autographs, because of course there's a little bit more to the story than that. We have to get the autograph, we have to get the picture, which I hate to inform you guys, I know I have the picture of me with Paul Stanley where we meet in a few minutes in the story, but I don't know where it is exactly. It's somewhere in the archives, not exactly lost, it's just not exactly placed right now. But we get through the line, and when we get into the little room, everybody is there getting pictures, getting autographs, doing like one autograph per person, one photo per person. And when we end up at the table, he remembers me. The Star Child remembers who I am. I feel like I'm getting gradually louder every take. And everybody's doing the awkward like lean over the table kind of picture where they kind of just like lean over, but he literally brings me around the table and says, let's get a good one. And we get a picture, and he signs my action figure here. My action figure, the McFarlane one that's kind of yellowing on the package. He signs that, and since I don't have the picture, how about we just show you a reenactment of the picture right now. So basically I'm Luffy here from One Piece. That's kind of a little kid looking figure. And this is Mr. Paul Stanley, because, you know, the size difference is important since I'm a little kid. And the picture was kind of, yeah, kind of like that. That's what the picture kind of looked like, I have to say. You know, I'm just like excited, and he's excited to be there, and yeah, that's pretty accurate. That's a good way to represent that image since I don't have it. And of course, Paul was wonderfully nice to my mom as well as my dad and everyone there that night. He's such a nice guy when he's at these meet and greets, because you gotta remember, some people forget that the Paul Stanley you're meeting at a meet and greet is not this Paul Stanley, but more so this Paul Stanley. And that's pretty much the end of the story. There's not a lot else to say, but the takeaway from this and how it's related to Father's Day is that I would have never had that special interaction with Paul in the hall. That rhymes in a weird way, had it not been for Kimchi Dad. So it's wonderful that I got that experience thanks to him. And honestly, I wouldn't even be here talking about Kiss potentially, or even pretty likely, if it wasn't for him, because he really introduced me to the band. So you guys have him to thank, or hate, depending where you are on your opinion of me, for me having this channel and me being involved in this fandom that we all love. So you gotta thank him for that, if nothing else, and you gotta say you love your dad just like everyone else does, because it's Father's Day. We all love our dads. Happy Father's Day to all the Kiss dads out there. I hope this story brought a little bit of joy to your day, and maybe you'll share it with your dad as well. This sounds like the end of a Christmas special cartoon now, but you know, you get to that point sometimes with these things. So we finally have reached the end. So with that being said, I know I told you guys earlier to leave a nice comment for Kimchi Dad, and I'm gonna remind you to do that again, and maybe you could even tell me about a fun story involving Kiss or rock and roll with your dad as well. Let me know all that in the comments below, and if you are new to this channel, hit that subscribe button so you get all the new videos, and to get those you really do need to hit the little notification bell as well, because that will actually send them to you. And definitely give this video a thumbs up for my dad, your dad, and all the dads of the world. Again, my name is Kimchi Chris, and I will see you guys on the next video.